Hey, what's cracking everybody?
Hey!
Woo! Welcome to Between the Ribs.
That volume needs to be turned down.
Turn it down now, just making sure.
All right, we're getting it all hammed up and jammed up. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. And thank you for my mentor texting me and giving me updates. All right, we're on. It's official. We got it.
But for some reason, my screen is not here.
I don't care about your screen right now.
I don't care
Let's
about
roll.
the screen.
Let's roll this show. Hey, guys.
The YouTube one is not.
All right, ladies.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let's roll. All right, let's roll. I want to take a quick minute, and this may be off cuff for a lot of people, and if it bothers you, I don't care, but I want to take a quick minute and just say a prayer for the families in Winder, Georgia. So if you don't mind, bear with me for just a minute as we pray. And if you are a praying person, pray with me. Father God in heaven, we come to you now. We just ask for your peace, your comfort, your wisdom, Lord, for the families that lost people today in the shooting. Lord, we pray for all the families and the people who are injured, that they have a fast recovery and no more people die from the gunshot wounds that are in the hospital. And we also pray for justice, a swift justice, that Georgia State Patrol and Bureau of Investigations, everybody involved, gets this thing nailed down, open and shut case, and this guy goes away for life, if not the death penalty, for what he did today. Unspeakable acts. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I'm not trying to cover this story to get likes or loves or hearts or views, but I think it's important because it kind of made me sick this morning or earlier today. And I understand, don't get me wrong, I understand the old news analogy. If it bleeds, it leads. And people, they come out with these stories as fast as they can get them out because they want to be the first one on the scene and the first one getting the headlines and the first one just milking stuff out of people. And I think it's sickening. I think there's going to be a time in our country, I hope there's a time in our country where we put a stop to it. There's nothing wrong with covering stories, but when you come out so fast that you're asinine and all you're doing is stirring stuff up and getting people rowdy, first of all, they came out with, they didn't know, unidentified shooter. They knew it was a 14-year-old, but they didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. They went back and forth with that, and this is CNN. Fox later came out with their report, and then it went up to 30 people injured, but only 9 people went to the hospital. They didn't know who had gunshot wounds, who didn't, and I get all that. It happened fast. But how about take a break, take a chill pill? People lost lives today. Family members lost people today. People are in the hospital recovering. This is a very traumatic situation that happened. How about news outlets, these CNN, Fox, BBC, all these big people that make all this money, have a little bit of couth and a little bit of manners for the American people, and the people who are involved in these type of incidences, instead of just worrying about being the first one out the gate, let things unfold, let the police do their job. And speaking of that, I'd like to say thank you very much for qualified, brave resource officers. We know too many stories, especially down in South Florida, when you had resource officers scared or panicked or nutted up or whatever you want to call it, froze, worried about their retirement in a couple years, and they waited for backup and waited outside. And a lot of people lost their lives at different shootings. And these 2 resource officers, I don't have their names, but they went and confronted, what was his name, Colt Gray or Gray Colt or whatever. I don't even care about his name. He doesn't even deserve to have his name mentioned. I hope they put him in the death chamber. Too bad we don't have the firing squad anymore.
I was going to say, wait, don't get us knocked off of YouTube, by the way.
Oh, you can't say that?
Well, I mean, we just got a warning, but I don't know why.
Okay.
So just keep going. But
all right. The facts of the matter are 4 people were killed, 9 were injured. They know who it is, and they had to do the investigation. And it's a sad day in America. Right out of the gate, you had a guy, he was from Georgia and in part of the investigative office, and he was talking about, they cut him off actually. Fox kind of cut him off really fast. He started to go into gun control, and it's a sad day. He said, when we have to report on stories like this, another incident of a mass shooting, due to the hands of firearms, and then they cut him off. The report I saw, that they kind of turned him out and went on, because today's not the day to talk about gun control and banning guns and banning rifles, because it's actually against the law for a 14-year-old to have a weapon. So apparently he got the gun illegally. He was going to break the law no matter what. Now's the time to have sympathy and compassion and let the families heal, let the police do their job, let the investigators do their job, get the charges lined up. Some judge put this cat away forever. And then we begin to heal as a nation and move on. But again, kudos, double down on thankfulness and appreciation for the 2 resource officers that did their job. They actively engaged the shooter. Now, if I was have been there, I don't know if I'd have let him surrender. That's just me, but I still got a lot of work to do with Jesus. But they did their job. They allowed him to surrender. They took him into custody, and they saved a lot of lives. The other person, and they haven't released their name, and a lot of these are minors, so they're not putting out names on everybody, and of course on the victims, they haven't put out names yet. But the cat was in Algebra 1, left, asked to leave, go to the bathroom or whatever, came back toward the end of the class, and thank God that a lot of schools now have the locked door policy. And I think that's pretty cool. It's a safety measure. So the classroom doors are locked. The teacher has to open it. It has to be either open with a key or it has to be open from inside. Let me know what you think, because I had somebody text me about, another school that they don't want, the parents don't want their little kids walking through metal detectors and being patted down by the cops and blah, 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 blah. And that's an easy thing to jump on, but have some manners and some respect and a little bit of couth. I like the word couth today.
I'm okay with metal detectors.
I'm okay with them too, but not all schools can afford it. They can barely afford to feed the kids and have proper education classes. And I know we live in a world where this is a threat. But there was a girl, and I'm pretty sure at some point there'll be an interview with her, because they say right now that the victims and the scumbag had nothing in common. Well, that's because this little girl, whoever she is, she went to the door when he knocked. So he came back to Algebra 1, knocked on the door to get back in class. She looked through the window, saw the gun, and refused to open the door for him. So he went to the classroom next door and just started shooting people. So he apparently was coming after somebody in Algebra 1. So she saved some lives, because if she would have let him in and he'd have got in there with the door closed behind him, it could have been. It was
like calculus, but come on, Algebra 1.
I don't think, listen, I don't know if that's funny right now, Heather. You're going to get us kicked off the world. People are going to get done talking about us forever. But so just take a moment, guys, in your day-to-day life. We take life for granted so much. I mean, we really do. We get up. We run our butcher shop. We have a great life. We have our farm. We do some videos. No matter what you do for a living, we take it for granted how quickly our life is a vapor. We can be gone in an instant. So just take a minute, enjoy life, hug the people you love, be nice to somebody. You never know what tomorrow holds. So let me know what you think about that. But the main reason I wanted to come out here tonight is because we didn't get an opportunity Saturday. We had a few technical difficulties, but thank God we got them worked out. This threw me for a loop. And everybody that knows me know I jumped into radio and I jumped into these podcasts, and I'm learning on the job. I'm learning as I go. I'm not the smartest, most educated man. I'm not the political guru like my buddy Shannon is, but I know common sense, and I know right and wrong, and I know how to read a room, and I know how I have discernment or judgment, for lack of a better word. And Kamala Harris finally. And by the way, I'm sorry. We got Heather Hippopotamus.
Hello.
We keep her last name a secret because we have stalkers. Sam. I'm just playing.
Sam
I'm just playing.
Sam.
Hey, for the record, Sam officially apologized.
Aww.
He messaged me last night after the Shannon Burke show. It was a 92-sentence apology. I'm playing. It wasn't quite that long, but he apologized for acting like an a-hole and disrespecting us and disrespecting the show. And he promised that from now on, he will refrain and be calm and cool in his deliveries of his messages.
All right.
Also in the room after a hard day's work, Mama Moore, still in her apron.
I look like a choo-choo.
You're a hot grandma. You're a gilf. You're a gilf. My gilf.
Yeah, this is all gilf right
Yeah.
here.
So I didn't get this out Saturday like I wanted to. So we're going to do it today. And please text Amy and Heather on the boards answering. Comment. And we'll read some of them out loud. I want to know what you think about this. I want to know if you were able to see through the BS. I don't know what words I can say. My mom is listening, so I won't cuss too much.
If you keep it clean enough for your mom, it's probably okay for you too.
All right, so we'll say bull honky, a bull malarkey. I don't know if you were able to see through the bull malarkey. Kamala Harris did that interview with CNN, and she spake. I don't even know the right word for what she did. Is it spoken? She spoken with? She put out a few key points that I thought was asinine. Can you turn the volume down a little bit? I'm getting an echo. A few key points. Now I went too low. Thank you. Just leave it alone. How about that? We'll just ride this donkey. But turn it up a little bit. There was a few key points that she pointed out and she spoke on as like talking key points to get everybody riled up and excited to kind of, what she's going to do. And she fails to mention that she is part of this problem. She's been there for 3.5 years, and she's very much part of the problem that she says she's going to fix. I'm not going to repeat everything that everybody says over and over because we all know the storyline. But she started out with the economy. She's going to tackle the economy. She's going to save the economy. Her very first talking point on the economy was she was going to federally ban price gouging.
Isn't that illegal anyways?
Well, that's communism. That's fascism. That's totalitarianism.
But you're not allowed to price gouge anyway.
Well, you're not allowed to price gouge.
So banning things that you already can't.
Okay, so here's the thing. In an event of a national emergency or a state of emergency, if a governor or the president declares, for instance, like during a hurricane, whatever Home Depot's wood was a week before the hurricane, they have to ride that price out through after the hurricane. They can't jack the price up because a storm hit an area. And I get all that. But also in free capitalism, there has to be price increase based on supply and demand, cost of goods going up, cost of labor going up. And we're going to get to cost of labor with the UAW, who's super proud of themselves, but they just screwed a lot of people out of work. So her comment was that she was going to fight for the working class. Her, Bernie Sanders, and all them socialists. The working class is going to get the power back, the power to the people. These big, bad corporations that just keep raising prices, we're going to stop them in their tracks. And she's like, now, y'all understand this isn't our fault. The economy's not our fault. She actually said that everything going on with the economy right now is Donald Trump's mismanagement of COVID-19 and COVID-19 funding and the response to COVID-19. She said that her and Joe, when they entered the office, hundreds of thousands of people were dying, and over 10 million jobs were lost. Now, if you rewind and remember, Ron DeSantis did like everybody else, and he shut everything down for a couple of days, maybe 2 weeks. And then he realized we got to get Florida back to work. And Florida opened back up fast. But if you look at the tens of millions of jobs that were done away with during COVID, it was mostly in Democratic-run states where the governors shut everything down, didn't allow anybody to work. They closed the bars, the barbershops, the hair salons, the nail salons. They were closing they were telling people what day you could go shop at your local grocery store in your neighborhood up in New York and different places. They were locking people out of, to see their family at hospitals. And Tyson Foods is a big story right now because they're actually being investigated. They never actually obeyed the COVID restrictions. And a lot of migrant workers died because of that. Big bad Tyson, which they are. They need to be held accountable for some of their sins, but not necessarily all of them. But she went into that, and then she went into immigration. So she's going to tackle the economy. She's going to fix the economy. She blamed inflation and the economy on Donald Trump and his mismanagement of COVID-19. So I'd like to know what you think about that and be as honest as possible. This is where it got weird and hairy for me. Not that the economy tackle and analogy wasn't weird enough, but she said the immigration, it's not her fault. It's not Joe's fault. Even though she was the border czar, she was responsible for the border, and she was responsible to close it down, she said it wasn't our fault. She circled back, and guys, they accused Donald Trump of dog whistling, but this is the most passive-aggressive interview, speech, questioning, answering questions I've ever seen. She kept circling back, and of course we know this. The only thing they got, and I don't know about y'all, but most Democrats I talk to, they cannot defend one Democratic policy or one Democrat mistake without saying, yeah, but Trump. They can never stand on their own 2 feet and accept blame or criticism for anything. They deflect everything back to Trump, or they blame it on the Republican House or the Republicans in the Congress blocking bills, shutting things down, stonewalling. They don't care about the American people. The Democrats are trying so hard, but the Republicans stop them at every turn. And they don't tell you the full story. So that's why I want to fill in some of the blanks from a farmer, from a butcher, with what I saw and the things that I know for a fact. But this is what she actually said out of her cackling mouth. It's America's fault that immigration has become what it is. Now, this is going to be a little bit fun, sarcastically. She said, due to overcapitalization by American businesses investing in the southern region of the United States, it encouraged immigrants to come across the border and fill all the job gaps because there's not enough Americans to work in the southern states. Are you effing kidding me? Like that's their best excuse? They're blaming it on the economy's too high, the economy's out of control, inflation's out of control, Donald Trump mismanaged everything. We can't close the border because people are coming over here to take jobs because there's not enough Americans to work. She said that. Go back and look at it. Go back and listen to it. She said, American capitalism encouraged migration. She then said that she didn't use the word dog whistle, but she implied Donald Trump, who, by the way, has been out of office for 3.5 years, he has no political, well, maybe he has some pull, he has some friends, some people he talks to, but he's not on the phone with Congress or the House telling them what to do and how to vote. Like, he's running for his campaign, and he's running his businesses, and he's doing everything. He's fighting indictments, and he's in and out of courtrooms. But she said that her and Joe put together the most comprehensive immigration bill ever, bipartisan, and the Republicans shut it down because Donald Trump made some phone calls and told them, if you pass this bill, it won't be good for me and it'll make them look good. We need them to look as bad as they can, and then I'll fix it and I'll do this bill when I get into office. That's bullcrap. That's absolute bullcrap. Now, don't get me wrong. The Republicans stopped the bill. They did. But have you ever asked yourself why? Heather, do you ask why?
No.
Well, maybe because only less than 25% of the bill had to do with securing the border. About 23.5% of the bill, if you break it down mathematically, actually had to do with comprehensively shutting down and securing our border. The rest of the bill was Ukraine.
It's so wrong that they throw all these random bills into each one.
Yeah.
Do they just not have time to decipher between the two what's important?
It's because they think we're stupid. It's really because they think we're stupid, and they want to highlight, and don't get me wrong, numbers are big when you have $1 trillion or $2 trillion or a $1.7 trillion bill. So when they're like, we're putting $4 million toward the border, but yeah, you're putting $18 million in Ukraine, or you're sending this money over to how about Iran? Iran accidentally got all that money. Shutting down the pipeline, increasing solar powers, things like that. So, like, for instance, I'll compare the border bill to the farm bill. And the farm bill is not going to pass. I don't think it'll ever pass. It's a $1.7 trillion farm bill. And if you break that bill down mathematically, 18% of $1.7 trillion only actually goes to farms for the development, the support, growth of actual farm and farm production. The rest of the money goes to climate change, climate control, analysis, solar power, Green New Deal, that whole package. And believe it or not, there's money for Ukraine in the farm bill.
Do we get any of our farming from Ukraine?
So no. Now, Ukraine, don't get me wrong, that part of the world is great for minerals and a lot of fertilizer. And it's kind of weird how stuff will come out of that part of the breadbasket, so to speak, if you will, of that part of the world, and it goes down to Brazil. And Brazil uses a lot of that stuff to produce and grow soybeans and sunflower seeds and cotton and different things that then go back up into America into feed for animals, into Cheerios and anything else that has grain or high fructose corn syrup or seed oils or cotton oil. All the stuff that's killing us. I did a video today about all the seeds and the seed oils that are pressed that they tell us we need to go to because saturated fats and unsaturated fats from the animals are killing us all. But yet that's not true. Anybody can look at a picture of 1970 beach compared to today's beach, when back then everybody cooked with either bacon grease or beef fat or beef tallow, and they used that all day. Like, for instance, I showed Heather today, you fry your bacon up in the morning in the cast iron skillet, and then that grease sits there, and then we use that clean pork lard grease, and we fry the stuff with it, and we make other
you
stuff.
don't worry about like anything getting into it right there.
No, what's going to get into it?
Like, I don't know. They're not germs in the air that like could make stuff grow.
Even if there was something in the air, all right, when that grease.
I'm just like, you're not supposed to leave certain foods out on the counter for an extended period of time. So that's
Right.
my concern. Like, is
okay.
nothing happening in that grease sitting there?
No, that grease is perfectly fine. And actually, you want to hear a quick little side note?
Go for it.
Fried chicken was invented in Ireland, right? Long time ago. Fried foods, fried chicken, that stuff came over to America. But the cowboys used fried chicken on cattle drives because when chicken is fried in animal grease, animal lard, right? The reason they fry like that is it actually preserves it, and they could put it in their bag and go out. Now, I'm sure you're not wanting to do it in 125-degree summer heat, but in the cooler days, you could go out and have that fried chicken in your bag, and you ate on it for a day or two. Amy's grandma in Wetumpka, Alabama, fries enough chicken when she's old now. But when she could, fries enough chicken on Sunday for the whole week, puts it on the back of the stove, puts a paper towel over it, and you can eat chicken fried in animal lard all week long, never refrigerated, and you'll never get sick, not one time. I'm serious.
I'm not. I'm.
You don't have to try it. You don't have to try it. So back to Kamala again and Tim Walz. And it was kind of cool. Have y'all seen all that stuff on social media? Is that real? Those pictures that says Walt's family for Trump?
I have no idea. I just saw that today on yours
It
and
is
Shannon's.
everywhere. I know Shannon was talking about it last night that his brother came out and did a story about this is not the guy you want making decisions for people, in America.
It's going to be a really awkward holiday season for that family.
Yeah, but today there was a bunch of pictures of like the whole family on the front porch. It looked like, and it all said "Waltz for Trump." Waltz is for Trump. And then I think is it the Babylon Bee? Is that the name of their deal? The parody. Oh my gosh, Babylon Bee. That's like a funny parody magazine or a media outlet. They had a dog and it said Waltz's dog for Trump. I thought that was funny. But let's talk about this douchebag. Can I say douchebag on YouTube?
That's a gross word.
What do you want to call him? Let me take this moment to show you a cup from Organic Meats, Morris Family Farms, proudly made in America.
Your hand was over the logo.
Show your cups, ladies. Look at that. We all have cups.
Of water.
Not very talkative tonight, Mama. You all right over there? So IVF, I had to get some help from this with the ladies. We're going to kind of transition over to Walsh and his lies and manipulation. And it's starting to really bother me how they wrap everything up in women's health care and they try to pin it on women's health care, women's health care, women's health care, women's health care, when clearly it's basically murder. It's abortion. It's taking a human life. It's taking a heartbeat. It's taking a baby out of a womb. And instead of them saying that, because I think they understand, like for y'all two are highly educated women, but
Yeah.
if you only knew what the media told you and the big bad Republicans were coming to take away your health care rights, and you got to vote Democrat because we're the only ones that care about your health care and your health options and your health choices and the freedom of women, how far women have come in this world.
I'd live off the land. I would just not attend doctor appointments. I just wouldn't make appointments.
But I guess my question I'm trying to ask is, if that's all you were told, and let's say, obviously you're not, so I need you to backtrack in your mind. You're an uneducated young girl that don't know nothing from nothing, and all you hear is healthcare. They're trying to take your healthcare rights. They're trying to deny you your healthcare rights. They're trying to deny you and your doctor's confidentiality privileges.
I would wonder why they want me dead.
Okay. All right.
If I was that
so you may have
naive
questions.
Person. Right.
You may have questions and say, okay, maybe I don't want to vote for that guy because I want healthcare rights. I want me and my doctor to be able to take care of my body. I want my choices as a woman because I'm not a man. I'm a woman. I need my woman choices because men don't do stuff we do. Men don't have menstrual cycles and we don't menopause and we don't do all.
He
we
pointed at you.
We don't have breakdowns and we don't sweat for no reason. And
I do.
so they wrap it up like that because, again, I'm going to keep saying this. They think we're stupid. They think everybody is stupid. So if that same group of people came after you or came to you with advertisement and said, you don't want a Republican in office, you don't want a conservative office because they don't want you to kill the baby in your belly. They want you to, if you get pregnant, to have your baby. Would that be as hard of a decision for you if you weren't being manipulated with healthcare? You're right as a woman. You're right as a woman.
Yeah, because I would assume that may never cross my plate, so it wouldn't be my concern.
Right, and you probably would be less likely to vote against that guy because you're like, well, this guy isn't that bad. He doesn't want to deny me my health care rights. He doesn't want to take me away from my doctor. He's not trying to arrest me or make me to go back Little House on the Prairie.
He's not forcing me to do this or forcing me to do that.
Right,
that
he just doesn't want me to kill my baby. He just wants me to, if I have sex or whatever reason, because don't get me wrong, this is what they'll all go to. Well, you don't understand rape and incest and Grandpa Willie molested them. That's like less than 0.5% of people. So you willfully have sexual engagements. All we're saying is keep the baby, right? But they can't come at you like that because they know common sense people will be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, I'm cool with that, So Wall started out with this. What a punk of a man. My goodness, he makes me sick when I look at him. And I've never really known him. Like, I heard some stories about him when he was in Minnesota as the governor, and we covered that story last year when they did the failure to act right or whatever it was, where if the baby was born, it survived the abortion, and it was actually born, the doctors and the mom and the nurse staff could put it on the table, and they were not held liable if that baby just died of natural causes from being neglected.
Right. So
I knew about some of the stuff he did. I knew about how he had the National Guard going into neighborhoods and shooting people with paintball guns because they were outside and they were, getting them back on their porch. I knew about that kind of stuff, but I'd never really seen him and looked at him and looked at his body and his skin. Like, you ever looked at somebody?
He looks like a coach. I mean, he was a coach, and everybody loves a coach, so that's just bonus points for him. I think that's why he was picked for the running mate.
No, he's picked because he's very socialist. He's in love with China. He's very communist.
Yeah, but for the rest of us looking at him, because they could have picked other people they could have picked somebody else, but he appeals to the people. Like he
really?
Feels like
What
yeah,
people?
He does. He looks like a neighbor, like a coach. That's for people who aren't educated and aren't going into this knowing his background.
All right.
Like the people who pick somebody for their name. It's kind of like that. That's
all right. I don't know about you, but Amy, I look at him and I think stranger danger. Keep your kids away from him.
I have no idea.
You ain't never seen him?
She ain't judging his face.
I don't.
Well,
No idea. It's okay.
All right, so help me with this because I mess it up every time I try to say it. IVF, that's
in vitro fertilization.
And that is a way to conceive children when you cannot get pregnant the old-fashioned way of old-fashioned way insertion, right? The things you do. All right. So he laid into this, poor me, poor doggy me. My wife and I have our 3 kids through IVF. He said it was the worst thing they've ever been through. Wow. The conception of 3 of your children. Is IVF like a painful process? Does it hurt?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
It can be.
they have to have shots, and 2 of my neighbors have done this. They have to have shots every day. They have to, that's before they even get the eggs extracted. It's not fun. It is a lot of work, and they have to be very careful about what they eat, and they can't drink.
He described it as the worst hell him and his wife have ever gone through.
Well,
He
maybe
wouldn't
they lost
wish
some
it.
babies.
He wouldn't wish it on anyone else in the world. I don't know. He then went in to say, he finished that, and then he went in to say, I can't believe there's people out there who are trying to deny, and I don't want to mess this up, I'm reading it. I cannot believe that there are people, based on what him and his wife went through with IVF, I cannot believe that this is a quote, I cannot believe that there are people out there trying to take away women's reproductive rights. I wrote down, you got to be effing kidding me. Because here's my question, all right? Left hand, right hand. IVF is contraception. Conception, I'm sorry. Conception. It is a way to make a baby, to get a baby made.
Right.
Right? It puts it in the
Right.
in the deal in the oven. It's a way to make a baby. Abortion is a way to extract a baby
Right.
in a very bad, brutal way. So IVF is life.
Right.
Abortion is death. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to say it one more time. He said, I cannot believe there are people out there on the other side that are trying to take away women's reproductive rights.
So
How
you
does-
have rights to reproduce. You don't have rights to kill another person.
Right, but I'm trying to show more of this. They accuse Donald Trump of a dog whistling. They accuse us of, the secret code to enact people. But yet they come out and make statements like this to manipulate young women, poor people that are in places of, I guess, poverty and overpopulation. And are you kidding me? Like for us, instance, when we got married, my grandma was so mad when we had our 5th child. Because she was mad. She's like, how are you gonna pay for these children? She didn't want us to have an abortion, but she was like, y'all got to stop having babies. Like, how y'all gonna be able to take care of all these babies? And we have 8, right? And we're doing all right. God's taking care of us. So I understand there's a group of people out there that are like, man, financially we don't need no more kids, But my question again is, they use abortion and they hide it in women's health care. He actually, paraphrase is a bad word. He compared abortion to IVF as if they were the same thing.
And I guarantee you, any of those women having IVF, not a damn one of them is going and having an abortion after they could hear that heartbeat.
Say that one more time. Right.
Nobody who has IVF is willing to abort once they realize a baby's growing in them. Not a single one of them. That is work. That is hard on the body.
And IVF is very expensive. You don't go down to the Planned Parenthood and get IVF.
Okay.
IVF is very, very expensive and time consuming, and you go through lots of testing. They say reproductive health or women's health, and if you think of Planned Parenthood, it is safe sex and abortions. It's not helping people through a pregnancy. It's not. When you think of Planned Parenthood, all you think of is getting rid of a baby, or going to get condoms, or going to get contraceptive,
or cheap paps.
Or yes, now you can get that. They do that, but the biggest thing about their whole women's health care, their biggest money drive is abortion and contraceptive.
So why are they called Planned Parenthood? Because they obviously don't want you to be a parent and be in parenthood, right?
It was started because women could not get contraceptive. You couldn't get condoms. Women couldn't do those things back in the 70s. So Planned Parenthood, I believe it was in the 60s and 70s, they popped up to help women to have a say in their health, to say that they could have oral contraceptive. It was so taboo back then.
For a woman to be walking around with a condom in her wallet.
Yes, or to be on birth control. That was a big thing. And I believe that's where it started.
All right, I do know.
But it was birth control for minority areas.
I do know that Planned Parenthood was birthed by the lady who was either in a relationship with the leader of the KKK or very tied to the KKK, and it was actually a form to control the population of black people, minorities.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
But you're right. They disguised it.
Margaret Sanger.
They disguised it as, we're going to help women out. Women's rights. It goes back. So there's nothing new under the sun, like Solomon says. All the way back from the invention of Planned Parenthood, they wrap up death with the illusion of women's rights. I just think, I don't know. I think we're on a fine line with God. And I'm not a prophet. All right. I'm not judging our world to death. But I think you can only kill so many unborn babies before God's like, all right, enough's enough.
I'm just glad that he can make that decision and I don't have to have any part of it.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to take this quick moment because I got a couple other things I want to talk about before we go off today. We will be in Fort Walton on February 14th at Sunbelt Rentals in Niceville. So if you want to come out to a free barbecue, a meet and greet, hang out with Mama Morris, she won't be in her apron and her work clothes. She'll be in her dancing clothes. We having a parking lot party. So shout out to Troy, Niceville.
Yay.
Troy, you the man, buddy. Sunbelt Rentals. Guys, it's a gated area. We're going to be off to ourselves. Nobody has to go, not that I don't like the island, nobody has to go over the bridge and get in that island traffic. It's going to be a fantastic little getaway. We're going to have there with the meats. We're going to be giving away T-shirts. We're taking the banana. We're giving away the banana.
Banana Man. Get him out of my house.
Banana Man's being given away. It's going to be from 11 to 3. Get your orders in if you're up in that area. 407-402-5686. If you're on our Georgia route, we're going to be in Georgia the next day after Sunday, the 15th. We'll be there at the Cumberland Mall in all of our Georgia stops. So please get in, check in. Oh, man, I didn't. Can I play this real quick? Do I have time to play this? Did you hear the message Donald Trump had? I'll play it real quick.
Okay.
Donald Trump had a message after Kamala's interview. And I don't want to spoil it. I'm just going to play a little bit of it real quick. Listen to this.
Comrade Kamala Harris does nothing but complain, always complaining about this or that. But she's in the administration now. Why doesn't she do something? She does nothing but talk, nothing but gripe, nothing but complain about the terrible border or the economy and inflation. But she's been there for 3.5 years. So why doesn't she fix it? Go out, Kamala, stop talking and fix it. You don't want to do any interviews, so you have plenty of time. Go out and fix it. Don't complain.
He said, you don't want to do interviews. You don't want to debate. You've been there for 3.5 years. Stop talking about it. And like we say out in the country, go be about it. Stop talking about it and go be about it. Y'all know what the UAW is? I want to cover this real quick before we jump off. Because I think it's worth taking a note for it. The UAW, the United Auto Workers Union, is they're ecstatic. They're so pleased with themselves right now. They just got a very big win over some electric auto manufacturers and a place called Magna International, American Axle Manufacturing. And they're excited that we have won. This is their quote from their leader. We have won a wage increase double or more than double the typical 3% annual bump. They actually got up to 30% pay increases. Okay? Now, the guy who runs this deal, the UAW, I had his name somewhere and I can't find it. Help me out. Help me out, Heather. What's the guy's name? Holt, starts with an H, I think. Anyways, let me read you his quote. All right?
Sean Fain?
Okay. All right. He says, executives from large auto suppliers have expressed concerns to us that these aggressive negotiations could push companies too far, potentially leading to job losses. You know what he says? This is where it gets good. He looked at him and said, somebody's got to pay for it. Somebody's got to pay for it. Now, he wasn't talking about the corporations. He wasn't talking about the consumers. He was talking about the sacrificial lamb. So the UAW prides themselves on fighting for the people. Power to the people. Power to the workers. We're going to get people their money. And you nasty corporations are going to start paying. You're going to start paying these people. Now, again, let me say this. We employ people, and I used to be employed by people. And I am self-employed. I want to make money. I want to make as much money as I can to take care of my family and live a good life. I am never mad at anybody for wanting extra money. You work hard, you produce, you earn your way in life, you earn your raises. But to go in and to mandate up to 30% pay increases for people, who do you think that's ultimately going to hurt?
It's going to hurt the workers. They're all going to, yeah.
So the last time this happened, and it wasn't too long ago, it happened to the Lear Corporation, a plant in Wentzville, where they secured a 30% wage increase after a 3-day strike. All right, you ready? The CEO, Ray Scott, emphasized the pressure that it had placed on the managers of the rising cost. He talked about how the only way to offset this pay increase is to go to an automated workforce.
Yeah, no, don't do that. That almost ruined radio a couple years ago.
What were you going to say? Well?
Just Saying wow.
So let me just say,
Don't do it.
fight for your money. Like AT&T striking right now. Anybody been through Sanford? I don't know if they're striking all over the state. Or
Is that why my service is such crap?
yeah, that's
Is that
right.
why our internet's
Yes.
crap right now?
Probably it is. It
that
probably
what you
is.
have?
Yeah, we have AT&T.
I went by the AT&T place the other day when we dropped the truck off at the shop. You didn't see all those guys with the red signs right there in Sanford before the railroad track at the AT&T place?
I didn't.
So the AT&T is having a strike. I haven't been following to see if what they got going on. But the Lear Corporation in Winsville laid off 50% of its staff within 8 months of negotiations with the UAW. So great.
Terrible.
They got everybody a 30% pay increase. But half y'all lost your job. So are they really fighting for all y'all, or are they another tool of the Democratic Party to increase the ability of socialism, which leads to communism? Because let me tell you how it breaks down. The more people unemployed means the more people on government assistance. The more people on government assistance means the more the government has to assist. The more the government assists, the more power and control they have over you. When the government is paying your Section 8 housing, your free cell phone, part of your power bill, your kids' daycare, your food allotments at the grocery store, when they tell you to do something, are you going to argue with them? No, you're not, because they are step by step taking control of our country, and they're doing it through the workforce. Again, I'm all for more money. If you want more money, get more money. But when you do it under the banner of the UAW, at the cost of half the workforce being laid off, it's going to kill your town. When U.S. Sugar laid off all those people back in Belgrade, within a year, the tire stock went out.
Yeah.
The grocery store went away. KFC, I think the KFC survived. KFC is strong down there. I think the carpet store went out, but more and more.
Everything. Boarded up. It was a different town within a year.
Yeah, within a year. The city police went away.
Yep.
The county had to step in and start sending out county officers. The church, the First Baptist Church of Pahokee went away. Yep. Everything started going away because there's nobody to work, means there's nobody with money to spend money in the town.
There was no economy. The economy crashed in Belglade.
Yes, and yes, you're right. We watched it crash.
We watched it.
And they were like, well, we only laid off 3,200 people. But those 3,200 people couldn't spend money in town. But the tire company who had a contract with the sugar mill no longer had the contract because they stopped it. So the 10 people that worked at the tire store lost their job. The guy at the fertilizer place lost his contract, and on and on and on, the trickle-down effect that leads to poverty, that leads to government control. So just be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you ask for. On Saturday, we got a great show lined up. The largest cattle feedlot in Nebraska. Now, I'm going to close with this. All right? Everybody's grass-fed, grass-finished. We want all-natural animals, yada, 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 yada. I get it. I'm in the all-natural business. Feedlots, by nature, normally have a clay ground or a dirt ground. Well, guess what? The newest, largest feedlot Nebraska has rolled concrete.
Is that regular concrete? Well, I mean, why is it rolled? Is it just does that mean like they flattened it like foundation?
Wait till Saturday. I'll tell you on Saturday.
I want to know what it does to the cows' knees and
cows
hooves.
are not supposed to stand on concrete.
I was going to say, it's got to be bad for their knees.
Okay. Now, the other thing is when manure and concrete hit and pee and rain, it gets real slippery. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of problems.
Cows falling.
Now, here's the other deal.
They're poop skating.
Poop skating.
That's hilarious and awful.
Also want to say that this feedlot got denied its original proposal to be built because the aquifer in that town is in a severe disaster state. So guess what they did? They moved 10 miles and got approved a permit.
Oh, wow.
But don't worry, the Awkward's fine 10 miles away. We'll get to all that Saturday between the ribs with Jonathan Morris. We'll be on Florida Man Radio, 5 o'clock on Saturday, and then we'll have Clean the Plate directly after that at 5 o'clock. We're going to clean up the week, talk about a lot of things. If you have questions, comments, anything you want to add, type it to us. We'll Google it.
Yeah? We'll Google what you type us, and we'll find you.
I ain't Googling nothing. I ain't Googling nothing. Hey, guys, thank y'all for bearing with us. As we get this off the ground, you can say you're on the ground floor between the ribs. So thank you for everybody who watched and listened. Have a great night. Stay crack-a-lackin'.